putting settings on your phone that make it easier to sort of see and hear things. So this can be really helpful if you struggle to read small print on your phone, or if it's harder for you to hear maybe out of one ear than another. So I'm going to give you a couple little quick tips and tricks on how to kind of customize your phone to your needs as far as hearing and visual. And again, as always, I'm doing this on a Galaxy phone, but if you have an iPhone, there's going to be a similar procedure to do this. There's similar settings for it. You're going to go into your settings in the same way. And they might be named something slightly different, but there are very similar features. So for right now, we're going to focus on Galaxy, but there's parallels to iPhone as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to the little gear that says settings. And that's all the stuff in there. These are just as a note too. If you're trying to change something about how your phone looks or operates, settings is always a good place to start. And you can look at the names of these menus and sort of feel out which one you might be looking for, right? So if you wanted to change, like say your wallpaper or something, just look for something that says that. But right now, what we're going to be concerned with is this one that says accessibility. So you should see this, the little green icon with like a person on it. So we're going to click on that and just see what's available to us. And I'm going to highlight a couple of things here. All right. So you see, we're going to mainly look at these two categories: visibility enhancements and hearing enhancements. Okay. So we want to look at some visibility enhancements first. If you click on that, you'll get a number of different options here. Okay. So the sort of most basic and kind of easiest one to do here is that you can make your display larger, right? So if it's not so much that you're just occasionally seeing things or fonts or something that are really small and it's hard for you to read, but you find it hard to like read things on your phone or see things on your phone all the time, you might want to consider doing a larger display. So what you can do is click on this large display. All right. So what I had it on before was default. All right. So that's how it is set up when you get the phone. That's the kind of standard size of fonts and the display itself. So you can hit on this large display. I'm going to say apply for now, just so you can see what it looks like. And you should see that the display gets larger. See, the font here is bigger. And some of you might have this set up on your phone already. That can be just like a kind of quick fix for being able to see things a little bit better, right? There's another one. I don't find this particularly helpful, but it may be for someone else. That's high contrast. So it makes your fonts it's almost like they're outlined. And it can make it easier for you to see and read for some people, depending on what your sort of vision needs are. Let me see if I can show you what this looks like. So, okay, so you see, like, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's like a black outline to the fonts on here. If that helps you, that's the way you would set that up. It can make I guess the font's a little bit more kind of crisp and outlined. All right, so that's another one you can do as well. I'm going to go back to accessibility. I'm going to go back to visibility enhancements and turn those off for now. I'm going to go back to default and apply. Make sure you hit apply on those, or it won't change anything. Okay. And so the other thing on here I want to show you, there's color adjustments, things like that, and you can mess around with those. This is another thing that I think may be really helpful, is this magnification button, right? Okay, so what this is it gives you, I actually have it already set up on mine so I can show you. And what it does is it makes this little button. If you see down in the right-hand corner, there's that person that looks like that accessibility setting, the picture that went with that will be on your screen just for you to access at any time. So if you set this up, which we're going to do, all right, they show you, if you want to use this magnifier, you're going to tap that accessibility button. So I'm going to say, got it, I understand. All right, so right now I have that turned on. And it tells you, if you go to this screen, it tells you exactly how to use it, but I'm going to show you a little bit too. So basically what this is like is if you had like, you know, if you were reading a book and the print was really small and you had a magnifying glass and you could go over it and just zoom in real close. I know you can zoom in on your phone overall, but this is like you can take a box, like a very specific area and zoom in, which can be helpful. So let me show you how this works. So we're going to actually do this right now with this because the font on this is kind of small. Okay, so I just pressed that button and you see that my zoom popped up. All right, so what I can do is I can scroll around with this. I can zoom in further. All right, I can move it and I can zoom out if that's too big for me. I want to see more in there. And this can be really helpful. Look, I'm going to move it around. If you find yourself not being able to see small print or other small images and you want to really zoom in on one place, okay? So the other thing you can do with that, you see some, you can make the outline blue if that is easier for you to see, like if that's a more sort of pleasant way for you to see it. You can lock this in place so that when you scroll up and down, that I'm sorry, didn't do it. Lock this in place so when you scroll up and down, you'll see that in the window. All right. And then you can also zoom in even further like this. What I just did was click this button with the arrows, the two arrows there, and that can give you, so you can sort of move around and see that as you go. So this is like a case by case thing where you can turn this on and off if you find yourself encountering text or images that are hard to see or read. And again, it'll always be, if you set it up like that, it'll always be this little accessibility button in the corner. And if you touch it again, it'll make the magnifying glass go away. Okay, so that's to turn it on. You tap that little person. To turn it off, you tap the person as well. So those are just two quick things in terms of making your phone more sort of readable if you have trouble reading or seeing things on your phone. Okay, so let's look at some audio adjustments. So we're going to look at hearing enhancements here. Okay, that's that purple one that has like the little sound image with it. All right, so we have things that can do live captions. We have hearing aid support, which is really interesting. If you have a Bluetooth hearing aid, you can actually set it up directly with your phone. So two things here that we can do is if you are hard of hearing in one ear in particular, and you use headphones on a regular basis, you can change the sound balance in your phone. So let's say you don't have particularly good hearing in your left ear, but your right ear actually picks up a lot of things. If you want to channel more of the sound into your right ear, you can just do this slider, and that'll actually change the balance of the sound. If again, you're hard of hearing in your left ear, and you actually want it sort of amplified in your left ear because it's more difficult for you to hear, you can do it in the opposite direction. So that can be helpful, especially if you're doing something like doing one of SMART's classes and you're having trouble hearing because of that. So you have different hearing needs on different ears, that you can sort of adjust that based on your own hearing preferences, right? Oh, okay, here's another one that relates to sound. All right, so you're going to see this one that says advanced settings. All right, this one sort of oddly enough isn't under the hearing enhancements. I guess it's more of a, I don't know, it's under advanced settings. If you have trouble hearing your phone ring, even when it's like at a higher setting, you can do something that called a flash notification. And what that means is either you can set your camera or your screen to flash when your phone rings or when you get a notification. So if it's easier for you to see a visual indication of your phone ringing than it is for you to hear it, I recommend doing this. So when you turn on your flash notification, you can either do it like it says, I just turned it on and it said for all apps. So that would be any notification I get, I'll get a flash on my phone from the flashlight. You can also just change that so it's whatever, apps you want it to be, or just so it happens, when someone calls you. So you might not want it for every single push notification, but you might want it for some. All right. So you can either do the camera flashes, or it's more likely that your screen is facing up. You can do it a screen flash, and then you can say either all apps are selected apps. So that can be helpful if it's difficult to hear your phone, or if you're in a place where you want to know that your phone is ringing, but you don't necessarily think you can hear it. You know, the various situations where that might be a little easier to handle than a loud ring or even a vibration. Okay. And then you can say preview, and it shows us what that flash looks like. But what it is the screen is turning, so you're bright yellow. So it's clear. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So it's clear that something's happening. So you can see that visually if it's difficult to hear. Okay. So those are the tips and tricks I wanted to share with you today.